Hi everybody and welcome to Josiah is Right. So I am very excited to present to you this brown box right here. So this came from the Nacelle company, which is the people that produce the toys that made us, the movies that made us, and a lot of other stuff. A toy store near you, a lot of toy related content, and just a lot of good stuff, comedy show, all kinds of stuff. So check out all the things that they do, including Instagram giveaways. So I won this on Instagram. I feel like I'm that person in life who's never won anything. And when I was a kid, I guessed the number of pennies in a jar, but my older brother Jason actually suggested the number again. This was at Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I got the pennies. And that was like a highlight of my life until this, in terms of winning things. Other than winning the heart of my wife, obviously. So this is a G.I. Joe classified figure, which I'm super excited, and we'll open it up and it's going to join the collection on the shelf. But I want to say thank you to Nacelle and Brian Volkweiss, who is the producer's his company. He's directed at least some of the episodes of the movies that made us, toys that made us, etc., and produces all those shows that I follow him on Instagram, that I found him through the show. And I just appreciate someone like him. I do this on YouTube on a much smaller scale because of a love for the same things. And I knew about some of the people that made these things, but the toys that made us in particular, the movies that made us, I knew a lot of that stuff as a movie fan and with a screenwriting background and all that, and worked on the far fringes of entertainment. Worked for Ed Saxon, Oscar-winning producer, so just great stories from him, and learned a lot from him in the time I worked for him and other people. John Betchell, who wrote The Last Starfighter, was a kind of a mentor of mine a few years back when I had a film festival and all that stuff. So I kind of am more in touch with that stuff, but I don't know the history of the toys that I love, and a lot of people don't. And if we do, it's kind of piecemeal. So it's kind of cool to see a show that brings it all together. The toys in particular. And the movies that made us is fun, and the tone of it's really fun. It's not too serious, but yet there's a certain reverence to it that appreciates these things, because, I mean, obviously, this is a shrine to a younger Josiah, right? So, and Super 7 in particular really nails it. And I think they're going to have an episode on, it might be out already, on a toy store near you or something. I'm forgetting the name of that one. I haven't seen that show yet, but that's next in the list to watch. So much stuff to watch, and so little time when you have kids. So let's open up this care package from them. Again, follow them on Instagram and follow the toys that made us on Instagram, because that's how I want it. It was really cool. Just follow them and just follow one. It's really nice. You don't have to tag a friend. Sometimes I think they do that now. Maybe, I don't know. So here we have the figure itself, Gung-Ho, which is my first in the classified line. I really want Snake Eyes, obviously. Snake Eyes has always been that essential figure. And a really cool story on the toys that made us, how he was like the afterthought, no paint application kind of figure to save money. And of course, that becomes the coolest one that has the most life. But we'll get to that in a second. First, the stuff here. So you have Como Toys and Collectibles. So thanks to them from somewhere in the Midwest, in Indiana. I'm going to check you guys out and follow you and like you and all that stuff. They are the people who actually specifically sponsored this, so thank them so much. I know that the toy stores on that show are doing this, but Como Toys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys that keeping the passion for toys alive for men like me who refuse to grow up. And here is from the toys that made us, the letterhead, and this is the fun stuff that I wanted to do this one without Penny because I didn't want her to steal all my stickers. I normally don't my toy boxings with Penny. As chaotic as it can be, it's really fun for me. So you have a Hot Wheels sticker, the toys that made us sticker, circle, awesome. Another circle, a couple of those. Toys that made us, the movies that made us circle sticker, and I just dropped the one I wanted to show you. And oh, this is a cool one, the cool movies that made us VHS sticker. So watch, and those shows both on Netflix. And the toys that made us, this one is cool too, the television and the Thundercat, the Batmobile. Oh, I still want that Batmobile. If there's only a giveaway for that. If there was a giveaway for that, I wouldn't win it in a million years. It's my luck. The Voltron, we had that as a kid. The whole story about why we had to give that away. They might have shared it in another video, but that's for another time. So maybe a video with Paul, I think I shared it with. If not, I wouldn't do it. Posters. I love me some mini posters, and these are cool. So the movies that made us is the first one. And I'm gonna have to assume the Toys That Made Us, yes. Now, the Toys That Made Us, this is one that might well go up on my wall, but if not, I definitely have an idea for it as a way to say thank you to the Nacelle company with both of these. I hope I'm saying your company name right. Forgive me if I'm not. I'm bad at saying names, but no one can say my last name. I do a podcast called Popmosis Film, and I said Gail Gadot's name, Gail Gadot, because I say things wrong. But I was corrected on that podcast, and I feel bad. And I'm sure I'm saying your company name wrong, but everyone says my name wrong all the time. So, why we're really here is this toy. So let's check out the packaging on this classified. It is pretty modern and loud for my taste. That's why I like the Super 7 stuff. It's subtle and retro and sort of elegant. But this is for a toy store. I get it. This is the stuff that you're selling to not just old men online, but to kids as well. You want a kid to be able to want to buy this toy. And that's why I kind of also like these kind of things, like the Black Series and all that stuff. Like when I purchase it for me and put it on my shelf, I don't have a lot of Black Series. I have like Mandalorian, I have Bosk, I have a couple others up there of Darth Vader that I think, okay, a kid could play with this. And I don't know, that's reassuring to me in a weird way. So let's take a look at Gung-Ho. Great figure to get because he comes with massive guns. He's the big buff Marine and is shirtless but wearing a vest. Let's take him out of here. Now, I'm not sure if I ever actually had Gung-Ho as a kid. I don't recall. I know I played with him because the G.I. Joes, cousins, friends, at some point you played with every G.I. Joe there was to play if you were a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. So Gung-Ho has a lot of accessories here. Gung-Ho, very, I guess that's the kind of look. It's a more of a modern take on a G.I. Joe that sort of pays homage to the old stuff. Like the hat comes off, but it seems to stay on pretty well. That's pretty cool. Grenades up here. I don't know if those come off. I don't want to break it. The vest, which could come off because look at that. You got to see the full-on tattoo there. I like that the backpacks work the way they did on the old Joes. There's a little hole in the back and attach some guns to this thing too. I know it's Gung-Ho, but as a kid, I would always say Gun-Ho because I was a child, and I feel like I'm probably still saying that every now and again. So let's get these guns out. So you can see the guns, big, massive, bulky guns. Kind of, I don't want to crap on the figure, but this is probably the least impressive part. The gun details, to me, are less detailed than the old guns, and the old guns were really realistic. Maybe I understand totally why you get away from that, but that was something about the G.I. Joe toys. Those guns looked real, really real. And again, I totally understand why you don't want the guns to look super real these days, but at the same time, that was just how they looked. And I think this, I don't know if this, yeah, the gun can kind of clip into the back there, you can see. But he needs to be holding two guns. He's that kind of guy. I wish he had like a pistol too, something smaller. But he needs big guns, right? Because this hand, I can't even figure out how to get. I guess I need to switch guns. No, his hands are both kind of like that. This one's seems really tight. But anyway, as a kid, the first comic book that I ever had that got me into start collecting comics was G.I. Joe. And I'll cut to I have the original comic book still, but I'm just going to find an image of it because I'll try to find the original. It's somewhere in the closet that's over there. But that comic I got with a Salvo action figure. Salvo, another sort of bald G.I. Joe. Salvo from my Aunt Marlene, Uncle Lou, cousin Brian and Brad. And Brian and Brad, they had the best G.I. Joe collection of anybody ever. Great toys. I got a lot of Star Wars toys from them like later on in life when they were over it, and I was basically a teenager that was still into it. And so that comic book kind of started me on the path of life that I'm on. And so thanks to Aunt Marlene, Uncle Louie, Brian and Brad, and Rhonda, my cousin Rhonda too. So for them, I'm sure that Rhonda was the least involved in getting me a G.I. Joe, and Uncle Lou. But Aunt Marlene and Brian and Brad, I think, were definitely all happy to see me get a G.I. Joe. But they had the best G.I. Joes. That comic book got me started on comic books, and it was the gateway drug because I had been into G.I. Joes long before that. This is the gateway drug for this figure, as that was the gateway drug for comic books. It's a really weird way of putting it. But that comic book, it started my love of comics, love of storytelling. Really, that led to me reading bigger books and bigger stories. So I read that G.I. Joe, and then I would start to consume those. And when Larry Hama was doing it, it was just an amazing, amazing book back then. Really much more adult and heavy than the cartoons ever were. And I love the cartoons, and I still love the cartoons for what they were, but it was a different narrative. And then that got me into, obviously, very quickly into X-Men and Spider-Man. And I had probably come across some Spider-Man comics here or there, because my older brother Jason, but it was different. That was the comic book that I believe in that issue. I have to dig through it. It starts off with like they're picking up these corpses on the front of a machine, and they're like covered over with a cloth because they died. And that really changed things for me in terms of what storytelling could be. And I was somewhere between 8 and 10 when this happened. The date of the comic might help me figure it out, but that at that age, that's really gonna have quite an impression on you. So all that said, this is really cool. I am so happy to have won a prize. I really I was shocked that it made my day. And in the year 2020, where we've had some personal good things, like this is a new house. We sold our old place. We had to move. We sold it, and we didn't know where we were going to go. We were living with family, and we were blessed and fortunate enough to, because of that sale, to be able to buy a new place that's bigger, and I could still put up new toy shelves and all that, and have my world again to share with you guys. So 2020 for us personally wasn't as bad as for other people, but it's still as bad. It's still hard not being able to take my kids most places, all those things, living in Southern California with lockdowns and shutdowns, and I get it. I want people to be healthy and safe, but I'm looking forward to seeing you at a toy store, a comic book shop, Disneyland, which isn't far from here, which is cool. We can see it from the rooftop. And this is a bright spot to this less than bright year. Thank you so much to Nacelle Company, the toys that made us, the toys that, the movies that made us, the toys that made us, and toy store near you. Check out their shows. That one's on Amazon Prime, I believe, also on Vimeo. Again, I haven't watched it yet. Look forward to seeing it. I just saw an episode about the last Starfighter toy prototypes, and I mentioned, I think, John Betchel, who I am friends with. It's been a while since we've spoken, so I don't want to use the word friends loosely, but we were close when I was running the festival. And so thanks to that show, I'll get to see some prototypes. They were in a book, The Toys That Time Forgot Volume 2, and I believe maybe it's the same person connected. I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen it, but I look forward to watching that. Thank you so much. I am going to send something your way that I just thought of with those posters, and I hope you like it. And thank you. Bye. I haven't reviewed this toy. It's cool. That's it. I'm going to get more now. My wife is going to be upset. Not really. Well, it depends. If I got all of them, then maybe.